At some point when you're learning to skate, you'll run into this really weird fact. Nollie spin directions are wrong, or maybe Fakie ones are. What's up with that? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Rad Rat Video. Here we talk about all kinds of different skateboard topics like skateboard video games, who invented a certain trick, all kinds of different skateboard controversies. If any of that sounds good to you, hit the subscribe button. You know, a lot of people get Fakie trick spin names wrong, or some people have the Nollie ones messed up. And you know what, let me show you what I'm talking about really quick. So here are some clips from the Trickopedia on the barracks. This is a Nollie backside heel flip from a regular skater, and a frontside half cab heel flip from a goofy skater. They're the exact same trick. But even though they look 100% the same, one of them is frontside and one of them is backside. Is one of these wrong? I remember when I first learned about this, I argued with it a lot. I thought something was definitely messed up. So why are these so weird? Well, let's take a step back from spins and let's look at grinds for a second. This can help us understand the reasoning behind all of it. So let's look at a Nollie nose grind versus a Fakie nose grind. Again, these are Trickopedia clips from a regular skater and a goofy skater. The tricks are nothing alike. One is grinding on the front truck and one is on the back. How are these both nose grinds? Let's think back to the 80s. Imagine you have just a tiny little kicker for a nose and a big old fishtail. And nobody was doing switch at the time. Just delete switch from your brain, it doesn't exist. So if you do a nose grind going forward, you're popping the tail, landing on that little nose kicker in a grind and then landing it. Before a Fakie nose grind, you're rolling up Fakie, popping your tail, landing on your kicker. It's just that you're going backwards. So it makes sense that it's a Fakie nose grind. Fakie is just backward. A nose grind going backward is a Fakie nose grind. Well, let's compare that to Nollie. Again, switch still wasn't really a thing. It was very uncommon to do switch stuff until later. So you roll up, pop your nose, then land on your nose and do a grind. Of course it's a nose grind. It looks and feels exactly like a nose grind. Nobody is thinking about it as a switch Fakie 5-0. So here's how you can think about it. In Nollie stance, as soon as you leave the ground, you're in your normal stance again. If you put the front truck down, it's a nose grind or a nose manual or a nose slide. But if you're rolling Fakie, the front truck is a 5-0 or a manual or a tail slide. You know, boards are pretty much symmetrical now, but if you just imagine having a really big, obvious tail and a tiny little nose, and it'll make sense. So let's jump back to the rotations. It's kind of the same deal. Fakie just means backward. So if you do a backside 180, the same motion while rolling backward is still backside. And then Nollie, of course, is just a regular stance rolling forward, but popping the nose. So just like you can Nollie and then put the front truck down, you can Nollie and then do a normal backside 180. It's a bit confusing because like a Nollie frontside big spin is actually the easy way when it's harder in every other stance, but it's not too hard to get used to. So why do people still get so confused about this? Let's talk about today's ambidextrous skate style. You aren't a legit skater unless you can do everything in every stance. I think it's a lot more common these days to think of Fakie more like a switch Nollie. Switch is really common and normal these days, so it's just a way to pop the nose while rolling switch. And it confuses people to have to think old school and consider it to just be rolling backward. Another big issue is the video games we all grew up with. I don't know of any video games that do a good job making Nollie and Fakie look different at all. They don't go into the detail of having your shoulders turn so it looks like you're going backwards. The Skate series kind of does that sometimes, but it also does it in Nollie, which doesn't really make any sense. So let's talk about Skate. You know, Nollie frontside and backside, no problem. Fakie, oops. Yeah, it's very common for video games to get this wrong. It doesn't make sense from a perfectly symmetrical ambidextrous video game. Most games historically don't have rotation directions, like Grind Session and the first 7 Tony Hawk games. Thrasher has frontside and backside, but it's got Fakie wrong. In Project A, they added in directions, and Fakie is the only one they got right. Just look at that. This game is a mess. And then Ollie Ollie 2, that actually has Nollie directions wrong, even though that's the one that makes more sense to me. Shaun White is probably the worst because it doesn't even have stances. Doing a trick off the nose is always a Nollie, even when it's Fakie. So it's not surprising that a lot of kids get it wrong. It was a hot topic of debate on forums back in the day. Not everyone read skate magazines and could see the captioned pictures, and those that did might just disagree with it and think it was wrong. You know, it's only modern mobile games these days that seem to get it right, like True Skate and Skater and probably some of the other ones. Do you guys know of any other big console games that seem to get it right? I haven't played Tony Hawk 5 yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll be messed up. But anyway, hopefully things are changing. So the Barracks has the Trickopedia, which gives people an official reference point, and if games keep going in the right direction, hopefully that will help too. Tell me, when you first started skating, did you and your friends have it all figured out? Back when I was a kid, everyone in school had Nollie wrong. They just named tricks based on the feel of the trick, so a backside big spin was always the easy way. Well, that's it for this time. On screen right now you'll see my logo, which you can tap to subscribe. I post new skateboarding videos like this every Tuesday, and I have plenty of other content that goes up throughout the week. Here are some more of my recent videos that you might want to check out. Thanks for watching.